Hey, it's Mr. Han here. Here are our notes on graphing equations. I'm going to go over what it means to, we've been going over what it means to graph coordinates. And so, even in this assignment, you will be practicing that. And so, all we need to do here is on this coordinate grid, we need to label our x and y axis. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. X and y. It's very important that you know your x-axis and your y-axis. Do your best to learn that now. Yeah. And so the way I explain this is, in elementary school, you start counting, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, blah, blah. And then at some point in elementary school, you're introduced to negative numbers. You're not really introduced to on y-axis. You've been using the x-axis. And in junior high, now we're introducing a y-axis, and that's where we can start graphing. Okay? And then we also know that ordered pairs come in x, y form. And so, for example, when I go down to the assignment down here, we know that this is going to be our x value, then our y value. Okay? And so this is going to be our x and our y. And so we go over here, we find -2 and plot 8. -2, 8, right here. Okay? And so that would be our first point. So that's something that you guys are familiar with. I'll get into that assignment later. But here we go. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be graphing an equation like this, which might seem a little overwhelming or like, what the heck is that? It's okay. Before we even get into the small details of this, I do want to spend some time just highlighting this box. And so why don't you do that with me? I would like you to use different colors. I'm going to start with this first one being purple. Just going to color in here. If you want to make it perfect like me, go for it. If you can't be as perfect as me, it's all right. I know you're going to try. Okay, and I'm going to duplicate that, change the style. Let's go orange. Duplicate that, change the style. This is the nice thing about Notability. Red. Duplicate that. Change that style to green. Duplicate that. Change the style to, let's go blue. I love these colors, it's so pretty. Duplicate this, change that style to pink, and duplicate that, and let's make this style yellow. Okay, and so I do want you to spend some time doing that. It's worth it, because it's going to help us. And so what we're looking at is a table here, okay, and we are given an x and y value for each number. So this is why I'm coloring it like this, because when we read this, this is saying this is the x and y value. And so very similar to an x and y coordinate, an ordered pair, okay, this is going to be an ordered pair. Okay, now we don't know what the y is. It's actually an unknown, question mark. And so we're given an equation, y equals x plus 3, y equals x, whatever our x value is, plus 3. And so this is how we're going to solve what y is, and then we're going to plot it. We're going to graph it. And so that's how we graph equations. Okay? And so the instructions are plug in the values and complete the table. Be sure to show your work. Then graph the points from the table. Okay. To figure out what the y value is, like I said, y value, we're going to solve for it. And so this first one's kind of done for you. Y equals, instead of x, we're putting -5, which we're getting from here. So plug in the numbers in place of x, then work it out. Just to be super clear, I don't want this to confuse you. So I'm just going to put -5. That's what we're solving for when x equals -5. And so I'm going to copy this equation up here. Y equals x plus 3. And instead of x, I'm going to plug it in with this value here. because this is saying x is -5. When x is -5, what is the y value? What is the y value? We're going to solve. So y equals -5 plus 3. Okay? And so -5 plus 3, well, we could go ahead and draw this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives with 1, 2, 3 positives. We have 3 0 pairs. We end up with y equals -2. And so I'm going to plug in -2 right here. And that gives us our first point on our equation. Okay. I'm going to use orange to talk about -4. And so I'm going to use my equation again. Y equals x plus 3. But instead of x this time, I'm going to plug in -4. So what does y equal? Y equals -4 plus 3. And so if I add these two together, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives and 3 positives. Create 3 0 pairs. Y equals -1. So I'm going to go back here. When x is -4, when I plug that in, right? When I plug that in, y is -1. Let's try the next one. I'm going to do it in red, and now you could probably see why I'm color coordinating. -1. Y equals x plus 3. That's our equation. This is what we're graphing. Where did I get that? Right there. So when y, what is y when x equals -1? Let's see. Y equals -1 plus 3. Y equals 2. Did I do that right? -1 plus 3. -1 plus 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I did. We have a 0 pair and y equals 2. 2. Next is 0. I'll just do that up here. Y equals x plus 3. Instead of x, we're going to plug in 0. So y equals 0 plus 3, which is 3. Next is 2. Y equals 2 plus 3. Y equals 5. So you can see I'm kind of going faster here. Y equals x is 3, so 3 plus 3. Y equals 6. The last one is orange, yellow. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Y, nope, not going to do that. Change this to, I'm just going to do that next color. So this is for 5. Change that. Y equals x plus 3. Y equals 5 plus 3 instead of x. We're getting 5. Y equals 8. And so what I can do now that I have ordered pairs, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different points. I'm going to start with this purple one. X value is -5, Y value is -2. Right there, -5, -2. So I'm going to go find -5, -2. That's our first point. Check. -4, -1. This is right here, -4, -1. So go to -4 onto x, -1. Done. Check. Red. -1, 2, -1, 2. Check. 0, 3. 0 on the x-axis, 3. 0 on the x-axis. So we're not going left or right. We're just going up 3. 2, 5. Go find 2 on the x-axis, up 5. 3, 6 is in pink. 3, 6. And the last color was a little bit off. 5, 8. Alright. What I'll do is I'll draw a line when I'm done. I'm going to connect the dots basically. And so these equations should create a line. So there's our first example. So this is how we graph equations. This is our equation, y equals x plus 3. And when x is 0, y is 3. When x is 5, y is 8. Because 5 plus 3 is 8. 0 plus 3 is 3. So that's how we get the y value. Y equals 3. Okay. All right, let's try this one. Now we have different numbers. This is a completely different equation. I'm not going to color coordinate like I did last time unless notability is nice. Not notability, but this table. I'll duplicate just the top part. Oh, look at that. That's perfect. Might as well. All I did was I took my lasso, and then do you see this right here? Right? I just circled the top part so that I can move this around and duplicate it. Okay. So, I'm just going to move this over just a tad bit. It's a little off. Okay. So when x is -4, y equals x minus 6, y equals -4 minus 6. If I rewrote this, -4 plus -6. And so this adds, so this is going to be y equals -10. Y is -10. Y is -10 when x is -4. Let's try orange. -3. Y equals x minus 6. Where did I get that? Our equation. Y equals, instead of x, I'm going to plug in -3. -3 minus 6. Y equals, instead of saying y equals, I'm going to do -6. Oops, sorry. -3 plus -6. Right? We never changed the first number. We changed that to addition, and then 6 becomes a negative, the opposite. So y equals -9. Red, -1. Y equals, our equation is x minus 6, so x minus 6. Y equals -1 minus 6. -1 plus -6 is y equals -7. 0 is my favorite one. Y equals 0. Oh, I should write the equation. X minus 6. Y equals 0 minus 6, which is -6. 3. Y equals x minus 6. That's our equation. Y equals 3 minus 6. This is 3 plus -6, which is -3. Y equals -3. 4. Y equals x minus 6. Instead of x, I'm going to put 4 minus 6. Y equals -2. For 6, y equals x minus 6. Instead of x, I'm going to put 6. So 6 minus 6 is 0. Okay. Now that I filled out my table, I could go ahead and graph this. Okay. So -4, 10. -4 on my x-axis. I'll label it. -4. And go down 10, which is right here. Right, it should line up. -4, 10, right there. -3, -9, -3, -9, -1, -7, 0, -6, 3, 3, 3, -3, 4, -2, let's compose this, 6, 0. And if I draw, I'll connect these dots, I should create a straight line. This is literally what you do in 8th grade. Okay. Last one. I am tired. It is 11 o'clock as I make this video. Okay, so we have our equation. Y equals -2 minus x. For -5, y equals -2 minus x. Y equals this for -5. -2 minus -5. We never change our first number. We change this to plus. Opposite of -5 is +5. -2 plus 5 is 3. If you end up using your calculator, whatever. Don't bother me. I'm just going to do whatever colors. Don't get mad at me. Y equals -2 minus x. For x, I'm going to plug in -3. Y equals -2 minus -3. This is the same thing as saying -2 plus 3. So y equals 1. For -2, y equals -2 minus -2. I'll keep the pattern. -2 minus x. Y equals -2 minus -2. -2 plus 2 is 0. Hopefully you're seeing this as a pattern. Just keep going. For -1, y equals -2 minus x. If you're confused on where I get this, is literally the equation. Alright, so y equals -2 minus -1, which is -2 plus 1. Y equals -1. 0. Y equals -2 minus x. Y equals -2 minus 0. Y equals -2. Y equals -2 minus x. Y equals -2 minus 2. -2 plus -2. Y equals -4. Almost done. Just going to reuse another color. 5. Y equals -2 minus x. Y equals -2 minus 5. -2 plus -5 is -7. Go ahead and plot these points. 5, 3. Oh, -5, 3. -3, 1. -2, 0. -1, -1. 0, -2. 2, -4. 5, -7. Draw my line. They should create a straight line. Voila. This is how you graph equations. This next stuff you should be able to do. Don't forget that when you graph this, you go to the next point. You could already see I already graphed this first point. I'll graph the next point just to make a point. -5, -5, 8 is over here. And what you're going to do is you're going to connect point 1 to point 2. So you draw a line connecting these two. And then from there, -8, 7 is right here. So you connect those two dots now. All right. And so you got to make sure that you go from this point to that point to that point to that point, and then stop here. All right. So it should be one long. I don't know exactly what this is. All right. And then you have some more practice problems, and then the rest of this is homework. All right. Good luck.